So first thing right off the bat, unless he changes it, his grip. Change your grip.
Oh,
don't put your fingertips on a ball. That's your baby. Protect the ball. You got bad guys that are coming after you wanting to strip that thing. That's not how you protect your baby. Anyways.
Okay. I like it. Looks like the fingers are pretty high up too. I don't know if there's anything.
They're too spread. He needs to be. Oh man, he's another lifter. This is a Toby.
Yep, they both did the same thing.
Man. So yeah, right away he's lifting the ball up. He's not getting wrist. He's not getting wrist and hand square. And I guess I'd say is that you want that ball to be east and west. You want that ball to be parallel to the floor. Bam. So from this point, instead of putting the ball behind your back like that, you want to be able to rotate the hand and wrist to get the shoulder rotated. We're low, too low. I'd like to be a little bit more here. But what I am doing is getting a good ball push, or I'm getting wrist and elbow lined up, right? I'm from here to here. Now at this point, what this does is it allows that wrist right now to get involved with my shoulder. My shoulder's starting to rotate through. This is as far as that ball should be behind my head at this point, because now my hand is starting to turn the ball.
It's as far as the head or the ball gets behind the shoulder.
It should be, yeah, because now the nose is coming through. So so from this angle, boom, there. Here's the rotation of shoulder and wrist. Here's the hammer. And I'm I'm attacking the zone. I'm attacking as far as getting from one platform where I begin. My stride is longer. I'm a big strider. So I'm on one platform and I finish in a completely different platform. Square through the throw. I'm not thinking about pointing my foot anywhere. My foot is going to point where it belongs when it finishes.
Yep.
All right? When I start driving that back hip through, my foot turns.
Yep. And it ends up being pointed just forward. So, I mean, even if you wanted to say that, you know, having it squared off is an issue, he still gets, see this abduction? This is what I was talking about in the last one, is that's abduction right there of the hip. And that makes it so you're getting more force out of those hips. But see how he can still keep them closed, keep them closed. He hasn't rotated them yet. And now when he comes through, boom, now he's bringing all those hips through. And he has all the force behind it. And what he does an excellent job of is you can see his hips. I mean, look at how much that right leg, that right hip has traveled. He's got to be using the glute max, and the glute max is where all that force is coming from. You can see it right there. Boom, that's force.
I am pushing and ripping through.
Yep.
That's the power.
And so when that ball is crossing the line, you want it to all basically be straight here. And that's what you can see is he got everything back to straight. So even though he's got that longer stride that, you know, people will say that that's not good, as long as you get your whole body up and aligned, I think that you're not bad there, because at the end of the day, this is where you want to be. And that's really the problem with some of the people that end up overstriding, is it makes it so it's harder for you to get that back leg involved. And so that's the coaching point against it. But so if you can still accomplish it, then there's really no reason not to.
I agree.
Yeah. See, that's now you can see the difference in when you're coming through and having that ball just way behind your head and where the force ends up to be on. So if that when you're coming with the ball so far back here, you end up putting a ton of pressure on the under part of your shoulder, which goes into your tricep, and can end up just not being in an effective spot or as effective as you can. And there's a few other things that he does too. I mean, same type of thing here that we saw before. So you step, you kind of do that external rotation with the front leg again here. But a better job of keeping those hips closed still, so you can bring them through, but see that they're not coming all the way through. You leave them behind. So now the hips are stuck behind, and what ends up happening, you still have to be able to generate that same force. So instead of using your hips, you end up leaning over to the side, using all QL during this row.
Way late on his hips.
Yep.
Look at that.
Way late, but he's
relying
still
on his front upper half, his front bottom half.
He's relying on the front leg, and then also the lateral part, the lower lateral part of the trunk, right in this area, to complete a lot of the throw here, which is just inefficient. It's not the main muscle group that is a big primary mover, especially not during a throw. Most of force in a lot of movements comes from that glute max, having that strong glute max. Now when we go over to the side, you'll be able to see how far behind he left those hips. So see, and this isn't even where we had it with Coach, I guess right about there, right when we crossed, it was right straight in line. You could see here now that those hips are behind. And this is actually, we had him go through a couple times, so this is after some coaching cues to help him try to get that hip involved, and he still was leaving it behind. So really, that's the important thing to me when he came through, was making sure he gets that hip through instead of just using all the front part of your left leg and the front part of the trunk.
Very good. I wonder if being a lifter is, because Toby's similar with that way too, where you get in front of yourself a lot, and I think it has something to do with how far this forearm really works. The reason you get caught up is that this arm is still trying to work through the zone, and you're already moving with your body instead of being connected all together. See, I'm using my arm and my leg as one fluid motion. It's like the tide, right? These guys have a tendency, and it's starting to be a pattern where they lift it back here, and it causes stagnatism. It causes slow release, but their body's already moving forward, so they're not using any of this together as one motion.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Yeah. And that's where the whole idea with the efficiency comes into play, right? So if we can make it so that ball is on the most smooth track as possible, so if it goes back and then forward, now there's no wasted motion. But the second you start moving it back behind your head, now there's another movement of having to bring it back into the regular spot, and now you have to go through the throw. But the body's going through the regular motion that everybody else does, and the arm ends up behind because it has to, instead of going in a nice circle, it's going through a jagged box or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you throw a punch, it's very similar, dude. It is. When you throw a punch, you don't get up here. When you throw a punch, it's here. It's connected. Click, click, click. Bam. I'm coming through all together.
Yep.
We don't get here to get here. We get here to get here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I've had people throw punches and kicks. I've had quarterbacks come in here, and part of what they're doing is throwing punches and kicks, because we really wanted to emphasize getting that back hip involved, and to throw a punch, you really end up feeling it. And so, I mean, I recommend for anybody that is a quarterback or does throwing to learn how to punch, because you really feel that if you just try to use all arm, that you can't accomplish the punch. And then also if you end up leaning over to the side,
your hips are late.
Yeah, your hips are late, then you just you're not as effective. It all comes from the hip. And that really makes it so you can feel it.